Shelton was raped by a man named Thomas Alfred Taylor. He's accused of raping this child after luring her into a car. Anyway, Hillary Clinton is heard on tape bragging a number of times about how she defended him. First, she said, well, I was asked as a favor to do this, and I defended the guy, and then she goes off to describe many things. And describing the events a decade after they happened, Clinton's very conversational. We just played it in the last half hour, casual, complacent toward her attitude towards her client. I had him take a polygraph, which he passed, which forever destroyed my faith in polygraph, she added with a laugh. Clinton can also be heard laughing at several points when discussing the crime lab's accidental destruction of DNA evidence that actually showed the semen of this guy Taylor and Kathy's blood. Unbelievable. And we continue now with Kathy, and her advocate Candace Jackson is also with us. I thought you were an attorney. I apologize if you're not.
Yeah, attorney and advocate.
Okay, you got it. Thank you. Anyway, listen, let me go back and reiterate what happened here. So this horrible, horrible rape happens to Kathy Shelton when she's 12 years old. So Hillary Clinton, the defendant, wants a female lawyer. So as, quote, a favor, she's brought in as the attorney in this case. So on tape, 10 years later, after he gets this guy off with time served, she's laughing at the fact and mocking the fact, well, I had him take a polygraph, which forever destroyed my faith in polygraphs, ha, 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 which means she thought he was guilty. And then she's laughing at several points discussing the crime lab's accidental destruction of DNA evidence. The crime lab had already determined that it was Kathy's blood on the underwear and this guy Taylor's semen on the underwear. That's correct, right?
That is correct.
And then after the crime lab report pinpointed that it was him, and it was Kathy's blood, and it was Kathy's underwear, well, then the Clinton defense team, they wanted the evidence to test independently, correct?
Right.
Okay, so you gave over all of the evidence to them to have it tested independently. In other words, the crime lab gave the underwear to the defense team.
To take to their own lab, their own expert, right?
Right, okay. Now, I assume everything was intact at that point. Is that true?
I believe the prosecution crime lab had cut a sample out, but it was Hillary and her expert who then made sure that the only remaining piece of the underwear to be tested was carefully cut around so that there was no evidence on the sample that the defense tested.
So in other words, you think that they very corruptly, purposefully, tried not to test where the semen and the blood would be. Is that a fair statement?
Oh, absolutely. And I think Hillary herself verifies that in the way that she laughs about saying, yeah, we're going to bring this guy out from New York to, supposedly avoid this miscarriage of justice, ha, ha, ha.
And then on top of that, in a court affidavit, Hillary Clinton, then the attorney for the accused rapist, tried to create the image that Kathy was emotionally unstable at 12 years of age, had a tendency to seek out older men and engage in fantasizing. Quote, I have also been told by an expert in child psychology that children in early adolescence tend to exaggerate and romanticize sexual experiences, and that adolescents in disorganized families, such as the complainants, are even more prone to exaggerate behavior. So she basically tried to blame the victim, Kathy, in this case.
She did, and Kathy can tell you about how that impacted her. Days upon days upon days in a row, she was in tears, unable to function because of being blamed and smeared and lied about by Hillary Clinton. It re-traumatized her beyond the trauma of the original violent rape.
Kathy, let me ask you, how did that impact you as she tried to blame you, the victim? Look, I only know what I was like at 12 years old. Most of it, all we cared about was sports. I doubt you knew much about anything in terms of what was happening to you. Am I right in assuming that?
Yes.
Yeah. So this was just a lie, an elaborate lie to smear you.
Yes, sir, it was.
Yeah. Then it was a lie perpetrated on you by Hillary Clinton.
Yes, it was.
What is the impact on you? What was the impact then? What's the impact today?
The impact then was she put me through so much that I had my mom to take me away from it, and I said, whatever happens, happens. I can't go back. I can't take it no more. I was totally crying, and I couldn't even talk to them from crying because they were accusing me of so much stuff that was untrue. And now today it impacts me that I hear her say she's for women and children, and I think back to that day. If she was for women and children, why didn't she help me? She's laughing, saying she knows it happened. Why didn't she help me through that instead of making me feel like, I've been hit twice instead of once. I've been hit with rape, and I've also been hit with telling I'm a liar when I'm not.
So really, you got hit a lot of different ways here. Not only were you raped at the tender age of 12 years old, no woman should